Welcome back. This is Sven from Cheap Sheep Games, and this is the yet to be opened final copy of Crimopolis, which we've just got from the factory. And I'd like to show you what's inside this box and what you should expect when you get the game. So we haven't opened this one yet. We don't really know what's inside it. It didn't come in the shrink wrap, so we got to talk with the factory that the game box has to be put in shrink wrap, purely because of some of you have asked and making sure it's a little bit more water and weather tight, especially when the shipping boxes lay outside of your house for a while. And it's not getting too much damage on the outside of the shipping box itself. So this is the final design of the artwork on the top of in front of the box itself. Standard dimensions for a game like Ticket to Ride, medium boxes which fit possibly nicely with all of your other medium-sized boxes into this one. And you can store the game either horizontally on your shelf, and you see here the logo, or we have the same on the other side with a slightly different background, or you can store it vertically, and depending on which direction you choose to put it, you either see our expansion lady from an expansion called Big Business, or you see the main character of the game, who is our gangster boss in Crimopolis. So on the back side, you'll see all information you normally see on the back side. Some story information here. Here will be a photo of all of the components that are coming within the game. Here's a list of contents, and you have safety and hazard information, some player information, game information, some details, a link to our website, and obviously the EAN number which you need to put them into a shop. So this is the game itself, the game box. Let's open it and see what's inside. So I'm quite curious as well. The game is supposed to be fully packed to the brim. Oh, nice. Look at this. It's really like full to the top, even if you push it here. This is our rule book. Again, this is a final sample version, so that will be taken off. It's the book itself. We asked the factory to change the paper on the outside to thicker cardboard paper, and it actually is quite nice. It looks like they've changed the entire book into thicker cardboard, making the game a little bit heavier than it actually is and supposed to be, but it's actually looking quite nice. This is what you'll see in the game eventually in the rule book. That graphic is to be replaced today or tomorrow with the components we find in this game itself. This is starting up the game and the setup itself. These are all of the actions you can do within the game. They are just on one double side. That's all you need. We moved the page numbers down as well, just for a slightly bit better look and feel. These are edge cases that are explained, and this is the game and configuration, how you win strategically the game. Same thing, a couple of those photos will be changed in the next 48 hours before we send it off to the factory. Our Gangster Slang dictionary, some variations you can play, and we give a little bit away. One of the variations we put into place were a Big Business, a variation where you can play a side rule of an expansion, which we call Evolutions, bring out soon, called Big Business, and this is one of the rules or side rules that is part of that expansion. So you get a little bit of a sneak preview here already, a little summary in terms of what specific rules are that we have often realized people do not really see. So we mentioned this one again, and the backside with all of the honors, especially those people who helped us developing the game, our sponsors through the Kickstarter place, and those core testers and people and companies who provided us with some sort of support. So that is the rule book. It's actually quite thick and heavy and sturdy. I like that much better than the paper version we had before. I put this aside. So this is the cards almanac, which we have finished as well. You couldn't see last time. Same thing, it's very thick and sturdy. It comes with 4 pages. Front page explains the 3 types of cards and how to utilize them. So we obviously have a little bit of a contrast issue here, which we need to fix as well. So we possibly figure that out very soon. And what the particular meanings are on those cards. So 1 page of an overview. On the back side, you'll find a bit of a glossary of terms that are used throughout the entire game, not only in the rulebook, also on the cards, and specific global rules around those cards that should be obvious from the rulebook itself, but this makes it nice and clean for you how to use certain things. And we have provided you with empty cards as well, which you can draw on yourself and put some own rules on it. And this is some tips and tricks how you can set up those cards yourself without unbalancing the game too much. And in the inside, you'll find 2 pages of our cards or core cards that we thought give some extra explanation how to treat them in a very specific way. So you can fold the cards around like this. So on one side you have the news flashes, on the other side you have the fortunes, and they go into detail what you do in a certain circumstance when a card has been drawn, like this one here called Loud Explosion or Leaked Information, and it gives you some side information that we have heard from time to time from people playing, and I wanted to just be on a very safe side. Once you've played a couple of games, these questions will not come up anyway, everything will be clear, but we thought we'd give you a little bit of a heads up in terms of dealing with very specific circumstances when those cards are drawn. Good, this is the cards almanac as well, so that pretty much is what you will get. And then let's have a look into the core box. So again, really full even if you push the start. So we should have 3 of those punch out boards. That is the one, the majority of this one is church parts. The colors are much better than they used to be when we got the last prototype. So much brighter, much nicer. You can see now the wooden structure here, they used to be very dark and black. Same with the roof and the wall colors, they actually have changed, that's great. We have here little numbers on all of these parts, so when you set up the counterboard later on, you can use those to build this church in the counterboard. This is the back side of it, this is how the church roof looks from the inside, and that's actually quite nice, really like it. So the texture has changed as well, the linen, it's exactly the same you know have on the game box, so there's consistency around this one, and it's also not that glossy anymore from what I can see. There's still gloss on it, double check with the factory what's going on with that. Other than that, it's actually looking quite nice. I like that. I'll put this aside. This is the other punch out sheet where you find the other parts for the church, including a replacement cross just in case something goes wrong. Also here is already designed the entire explanation how to set up that particular church. We had a couple of adjustments on those particular parts, and I'll show you this one when I show you the how to set up the scoreboard video at a later stage. So that's looking all good. Here's a bit of a damage on this one. It's possibly a sample manufacturing issue, nothing that really is related to the game itself when you get this unboxed. So I'll put this also apart. And here are coming the 3 sheets of our tiles. You will notice a couple of things that are new. Like we have here a little icon. It's a little clock icon that helps you sorting out specific parts for a variation of the game. We called it a speed game. These tiles have a little bit of a specific meaning to this one, and you see these little white dots, they are manholes. When you look them up very close, you actually see they are manholes, and they will be utilized in a later expansion that is coming out next year or the year after that, and that's already prepared for that, making sure we are not having you to provide with new components, so you can actually use all of that in a later expansion pack if you ever choose to taking one. So putting those aside, again, they have the same surface or the same texture now as they had before. Yeah, they are soft and they shuffle nicely, so you're gonna like them. I'll put them aside. Here is another one as well, looking nice and as they are supposed to be. Clean cuts, nothing ripped off, as I've seen sometimes in other games. So there's nothing really cheap. So big thank you to the company or to the factory actually dealing with this one quite certainly seriously. Very heavy, thick, high density cardboard. That's going to be a pleasure for you to play with, and that is the 3rd set of 16 tiles you find in the game. So then the last punch out we should see is the punch out board with the clock. Here is a hand for that one and a couple of others. Here you will find an explanation how to set this up and how to build this, and these are our headquarters and safe houses. And if you remember the last unboxing I was talking about, we put the gangster figures of the pawns onto those particular tiles, so you actually, when you're colorblind, you can actually see a difference between those particular tiles and which one belongs to which player. So that is our clock, and we changed a little bit the layout on this one so it's easier to read as well. So put this aside, and then the magic happens here with this board that now has the numbers on them. Oh, this feels so much better than it used to, so that's actually fantastic. I like that one, feels much better. So same thing here, will be an explanation for you how to pack the box. That's already designed, just needs to be printed in the final version for you. Other than that, same thing, sturdy like the other one, same surface as, or texture as the main box, so it's all consistent. It's looking good, really like that. You possibly can't say that. It's still a bit glossy. Again, I'll double check with the factory why this is also glossy and whether we can get the gloss off. Other than that, it's looking nice, very well glued. Looks like perfectly centered. The quality of this double board is quite nice. We'll see how those punch out holes here go and whether they actually work exactly the way we want, but we'll figure that out in a minute. And same thing, we put here the figures or the pawn shapes onto the scoreboard, the graveyard, so that those people with color blindness have it actually a little bit easier to find their particular spot without being too dominant. Alright, I'll put this on the side, and here you see the game and the game box in terms of what we designed to get everything nicely fit into this boxes in. So take these parts out, so you see actually there's quite some development fallen into this particular box, so we'll see whether it works exactly the way we want, and I'll pack this one later. But eventually what means that we have on those corners all of the tiles going up. You see this quite sophisticated compared to other designs you may have seen. Here will be spare pots and other tiles as well, they fill to the top. You will have here everywhere pawns that go into. They changed a little bit design exactly as we did it. I think we need to talk with them. I guess they had some trouble setting this one really up the way it needed to be. Here will be pawns, here will be pawns, so it's not exactly as we designed it. I'll give them a call and check how that goes, but I'm certain they tried out to fit the assembled game into this one. It possibly worked the way they wanted to. See how that goes. Let's have a look in the last components, which are the cards. And there come actually 3 decks. One is the chop deck. I think they will be shrink wrapped as well, just not for the sample they've done. The same thing, this is the same linen surface we have had for the punch out components in the box. So they look quite nice as well. The colors are as they are supposed to be. They look consistent. They are printed in the center. It's good the way it looks like. The edges are super sharp, nothing cut off in a cheap way. Also we asked for blue core cards now, so you get the higher quality cards. You may see this a little bit. For those who have seen blue cards before, then actually how they look like on the side, a little bit darker, and they have a slightly better shuffling feeling. They're a bit heavier, they're quite thick and sturdy as well, so nothing feels with those cards cheap. So really happy and pleased with this one. Oh, sweet, the colors come through nicely. So yeah, this is gonna work out really well for us. And the artwork's completely done. Even on those ones already we have only very little touch-ups later on. You will see in the final result. All of the stories from our Kickstarter backers who backed the Immortal topic already are on those cards. I really like this. This is looking fantastic. And this is one of those sample cards that are empty, which you can draw on yourself if you intend to put your own spice into the game itself. Nice, fantastic. So it's looking really good. Jono Young, one of our backers here, is in his story, so it's going to be amazing. This is looking good, and yeah, shuffling is fantastic. So put this aside. We have the same obviously here. Won't go too much into this. These are the fortune cards. Same thing, they're looking good. Check out this one, what this is later. So it's all greatly, nicely centered. The colors are vibrant. I like it. The stuff's coming through nicely, so it's going to be well deserved. So obviously here is something a bit at the edge. We might double check this one. This seems not to be perfectly centered, but that's possibly normal. So in terms of that, I'm not too fussed about. So it's looking nice. So we sort out a few things with the shadows as well. So that's looking good too. These are the fortune cards. Let's have a look what this is. It's just a card. It's obviously advertisement. Shame I can't read Chinese. And these are a how to play card. Just scan this code and you're on our video site. Here's Board Game Geek in case you want to go straight to our website. And we have here our action cards, which you can take as a player aid on the side, so you see all of the core rules in terms of what action costs how much time straight here on the page. So lay this one straight next to you if you want. You get 5 with the game. I'll put this on the side, and these are the newsflash card, and same thing. It just looks amazing without looking into the details. I'll look a little bit later how they exactly are done and whether there's any issue, but yeah, the linen looks nice. There's not too much gloss. You can easily read it. Even the small stories with the small text looking great. The text is big enough to read. Yeah, really awesome. And these are the placeholder cards. Nice. I like that. And the last change we were asking for are fixing actually the parts to get different quality, like harder wood. So this is obviously not all of the components, so for some reason there's only some of them in the game, which is a bit of a problem because we got to measure how heavy the game is, so we got to upscale that particular weight. But these components, they feel heavier than the original ones used to look like, and the cutting quality seems to be better as well. They feel quite sturdy, so that's pretty good. So have a look at those. I'm sure whether the camera can do that actually, and show you the line little engravements. Our gangsters and in all the different shapes. Our little Tommy gun guy. Yeah, this is such a better quality than the ones we had before. So that was a good choice to go and upgrade those components a little bit. Okay, then this is pretty much and sums up the unboxing of the Crimopolis final sample. I will go through and check this all in detail. I will give you a Kickstarter update possibly within a few days if I can get the video done by that point in time, and show you what's going on with assembling all of these bits and pieces and how the final samples will look like once they are all assembled and are playable. Well, good, then thank you very much for watching. That was Sven from Cheap Sheep Games, and the next videos I will be uploading are assembling the church, looking all into the components in detail once they are set up, and set some photos up for you for your Kickstarter update in possibly within less than a week. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye!